a lot of love brands, and I definitely consider BVB as a love brand, start with touch points when the kids are very young, right?
Especially in the United States, we do a lot of CSR work and academy business. So that is a great way to help to grow the sports in the United States. If we have the pressure to monetize and look for revenue streams, we can't do that because we would really harm the core of our business model marketing-wise, and that is the fascination that this club community and the loyalty of the fans there creates.
How do you guys leverage AI already in your daily habits? Borussia Dortmund launched an embassy in New York City. Alex, we're here and I have so many questions. Are you guys taking over the United States?
Now, that would be too much of a German thing. No, jokes aside. We're not taking over anything. But, I mean, it's, of course, the Club World Cup is in the country, is in town. That's the reason for the embassy, temporary embassy that we're setting up. And, of course, we want to use that occasion to spread the black and yellow message worldwide, and especially in the United States, because it's an important market for the soccer business as a whole.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about what it is. So you rented out a whole house to and built it out to create some activation for fans.
No, I mean it's a building located in Williamsburg, I think, a bit more not Brooklyn, Williamsburg, and I think it has some kind of gastronomy business. So it is an event location, but of course we prepared that for 2 days to be the main spot for our fans, neutrals, also fans of our opponents, Fluminense, to go there, experience a bit black and yellow vibes, activate our beer partner DAP here in the United States, and have a good time, essentially.
That's amazing. I think New York is definitely the right spot for that. And I know a couple of Dortmund fans all around the world. So and I sent actually your invitation out. So I hope some people will show up, and you also will gain some more supporters and fans, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, we'll have one embassy in Cincinnati as well, and then hopefully in Atlanta if we then continue throughout the tournament.
I mean, Cincinnati also has some Germans. DHL has their second biggest express hub worldwide in Cincinnati. And I think they also have some Germans in the executive team.
Yeah, also since the whole area of Cincinnati, I think a lot of people living there have German ancestors.
Yeah,
and I'll go down there on Wednesday. Then again, B2B and potential partners meeting. But then the best thing is the fan activations. I mean, it's really awesome to. I really enjoy interacting with our fans here in the United States, and for them, I mean, kind of means the world for us coming over to play a competitive tournament, and we didn't want to disappoint them.
Yeah,
so we're going all in.
That's great. That's great. Last time we spoke, so I got to do a little throwback here. So first of all, Alexander Mühl, welcome to the New Trend Society podcast. Happy to have you back on again. I think you were actually one of the first guests we had, like definitely under the first 10. And back then you were head of digital at Borussia Dortmund. And now you kind of like graduated to head of marketing and digital and taking care of like the whole shebang, right? What is all under your influence?
I'm kind of like, so my official job title is Director for Marketing and Digitalization. I'm reporting to our Chief Commercial, Carsten Kramer. And it's kind of like the infrastructure wing of Borussia Dortmund. So I'm taking care of the brand equity of Borussia Dortmund. Brand management, we have an in-house creative team, we do our partner and sponsors implementations, the kids club, kids and youth marketing, all that stuff. And in the digital bit, that is, of course, taking care of Borussia Dortmund's digital platforms, our app ecosystem, our website, which we recently relaunched, the whole topic of CRM and fan data becoming more and more important, esports, gaming offers, it's quite a lot, but essentially it's me building sort of like the infrastructure that serves the need of our fans. Yeah. But at the same time provides the inventory for our partners to activate and for us to monetize essentially.
Yeah, I want to talk about partner activation a little bit later, but I remember also like we had one project where we worked together designed that thing. Where there was like fans were able to design their own jerseys and all that. We worked with Annalena from your team together. So shout out to
She's
her.
still there.
She's still around. Like,
doing a great job.
It's pretty good. I see in the marketing space people change their positions pretty often. But it seems like soccer teams or football teams have a pretty good retention in terms of employees, right?
We're a loyal bunch, just like our fans.
That's good, yeah. But when it comes to all these brand activation, are you sometimes a little bit, say, like envy if you check out what US brands can do or your US teams can do, because they can just integrate all the sponsors and all stuff way more in comparison to Germany, where the fans are more traditional and they are a little bit anti-commerce and all that. Like, what's your opinion on that?
No, I don't think I don't view it as a burden, or I'm not envy towards commercial activations that are possible in the US. It's just, I think essentially it makes it more interesting. I mean, the sports cultures are very different. You know, in the US you refer to them as franchises, and in German, I mean, it's a Verein, and you know all the connotations that come with that. You know, being clubs, being unifications of people for the people, so having completely different purpose than just the sporting entertainment. I mean, they're part of the community work, and now modern football clubs. They grew into this in-between space, especially in Germany, where you have that Vereins legacy, you know, the anti-commercial legacy, but then at the other hand, of course, the commercial potential, and you want to compete with the big dogs. So and I think that's actually way more interesting to walk that thin red line of how do you can commercially activate your club's brand and your fan base, while at the same time still making clear that in the end, it's not about cashing out max. Because in the end, you know, the purpose, there's a lot of talk about purpose marketing and whatever, and the purpose of Borussia Dortmund is the most simple one, to bring the maximum enjoyment to the lives of people through sports and recreation. So that's why we exist in the end. And everything we do is a means to that end, bringing joy and excitement to as many people's lives as possible. So, and as said, the task is more challenging, but I don't envy the US sports brand for having it maybe a bit easier.
Okay, but I see definitely what you guys do, and there's always amazing activation. There's always amazing campaigns. Can you give us some numbers on how many fans do you have worldwide? How many people are considered supporters or fans? Like also maybe with the breakdown of the countries.
I don't have that number in detail right now available at the top of mind, but the numbers are difficult to make up because clubs often talk about how many millions of fans they have. But in the end, that is market.
I know FC Bayern, they brag always with that.
Yeah, sure. But the thing is, in the end, it's all market research data, you know? And then it's essentially saying people who said in the top left two boxes, I'm interested or very interested in this or that club. So I always take that data with a grain of salt. But I mean, if you go by market research data, I think it goes into the hundreds of millions worldwide. I think one number I have in mind is 330 million potential fans around the world.
Okay, wow.
Then you can say, okay, if you're a fan, you're at least registered with the club. So that would be the number of single sign-ons of BVB accounts we have. That's almost 1 million fans in our CRM databases. And you could drill it even further down where you say that only people who are a member of the club, that would be over 200,000, or is it people who are part of a fan club? That's again tens of thousands. I mean, we have over 1,000 fan clubs. We have dozens of fan clubs in the United States where people organize in that very classic traditional German way, founding a fan club or a Fanverein to follow their team. But that's at the same time our greatest benefit, because we can use that local infrastructure, be it in Asia, or especially in the United States, to do those activations. I mean, Brooklyn Borussen, our local New York fan clubs, I mean, they've been involved and inspired us with regards on how to run an activation in New York. We did a workshop in Cincinnati with all our fan stakeholders and just gathered their ideas.
Nice.
Because they know the culture way better than us. You know? We're bringing over our football culture as we do it in Germany or in Dortmund, but you have to get a deep understanding of the local football culture or sports culture to make it a match. And it's invaluable to have so many dedicated fans on the ground who are willing to share their opinions with us.
Yeah, and it's also a whole different experience if you watch a game at 2 p.m. Eastern time in comparison to, a Flutlichtspiel, 8 p.m. Prime time game in Germany.
Absolutely.
I'm on the West Coast, so it's even earlier.
Yeah.
My good friend, he's a big Manchester City fan, and he watches. He's English origin, so he gets up and watches the games 9 a.m. gets a beer and watch by himself. So that's like a pretty interesting phenomenon. So I think the fans who are where it's even harder to get check out the games, they're sometimes like even more hardcore, right?
Absolutely, and I mean on the East Coast it's nice because you can do a proper Frühschoppen, a meeting 9:30 at the local pub and then have a beer and watch Borussia Dortmund. But I always thought that when I was part of the Asia tour we did 3 years ago, when we landed in Hanoi, Vietnam at 3 o'clock in the morning, and then having 600 people at the Hanoi airport greeting us, and then I came to realize, okay, these people, if they want to watch a Borussia Dortmund game live, they have to get up at 3, 4 at night. So they probably just know us through highlight clips and summaries on our social media channels. And that's the most insightful thing of promoting your soccer club or your football club abroad, and then getting in touch with the fans. Because the fan journey, aka the customer journey of football clubs, that would be the fan journey, is so heavily different from the legacy one that we were used to activate in Germany, in their homeland.
What does it take for or maybe let me frame it another way? A lot of love brands, and I definitely consider BVB as a love brand, start with touch points when the kids are very young, right? And most of the time you have like that one moment where maybe your uncle or your cousin gets you a shirt, or they tell you about that one player or whatever, and then you kind of like stick to that club forever, but sometimes even by chance, right? What do you guys do in this direction? And can you kind of like convert fans, or like what's
so? Here's a twofold answer. I think there's no way how to convert really a fan.
Yeah,
that's why all major European clubs, at least, are so keen on internationalization. But if you want to win new fans, you can do it either at a very early age, or you're doing it internationally, where you don't have those, just as you described, grown affinities to clubs. So what we do in Germany is, of course, a lot of kids and youth marketing. We have quite a decent academy business as well. But it's in international markets, it's quite different. So first of all, kids and youth marketing works there as well. And especially in the United States, we do a lot of CSR work and academy business. So there are several soccer academies here in the United States, run by BVB or together with partners, completely in black and yellow. The kids play in our home shirts. The coaches are BVB certified. They teach our brand of football.
Oh, okay, wow.
And because you don't have the youth club system as we have in Europe, in the United States, so that is a great way to, at the one hand side, help to grow the sports in the United States. Doing some good because we have CSR-related activities for young kids who can't afford academy courses, but at the same time get young kids into the black and yellow mindset as early as possible. And I mean, you could look. We just ran a nice feature on YouTube about this kid that played for our academies who had a horrible car injury, and how he fought back and was supported by the local academy. It's when I watched that was like, oh, okay, that's the way it should be, because just like the academy is essentially run by Americans as well, but the way they behaved was so much in sync with the values we try to bring across. So that was really cool. So academy business is a big chunk, but then internationally we have a phenomenon of secondary club sympathies.
Okay, yeah.
We do have that in Germany as well, because we are a very non-polarizing club. You know, if you look at Bayern Munich, they have the absolute most fans in Germany.
Yeah, either people love it or hate it, right?
That's the point. So if you're not a Bayern Munich fan, you're like, let's see how the others play, because I don't want to see them win. So with us, it's often like, oh, Dortmund, it's okay. So for a lot of people whose secondary or whose favorite team is second league, third league, so we're an obvious second choice. And then with international fans, you know, a US soccer fan often has his favorite Premier League team, Serie A team, La Liga team, Ligue 1 team, if he's a bit nerdy. And when it's about the Bundesliga game, we want to be there. And now branding comes into play, because the BVB brand of football and the whole setup of our club often then makes it interesting to people who are also not used to the German way of running clubs. And then you have a yellow wall, and people are like, okay, that looks interesting. I'm going to keep an eye on them. And then it's just, you know, trying to intensify the relation to the sympathizer and maybe become the first team.
Yeah. I think from a brand perspective, or if you look at through agency glasses, and I know you've been an agency man before as well. You were at TWA
and Havas,
yeah. And so if you look on the brand, like just pretty neutral, there are a lot of things that check boxes, right? Like the CI, like the colors, black and yellow, pretty good, pretty poppin'. The jerseys are outstanding. If you go to a Puma store, like any sports store, all the others are like red or like some like more decent colors, but like black and yellow, it's like
maximum
pretty
contrast.
Outstanding, right?
Absolutely.
Then you have the symbol, you have the yellow wall, the hardcore fans, and all that. So I think it's pretty good brand fit.
No, I think it's something that a lot of people, especially in the US, told me. I mean, I was in New York 1.5 years ago, a private trip with my wife, you know, rainy Saturday morning. So what do? Darling, let's watch football. It went to Benta Bar in Brooklyn, which I can heavily recommend to anyone who's in New York and wants to look football or see football, and then stumbled into essentially into the BVB fan club, the Brooklyn Borussen, who always watch the games there. So, long story short, had a blast, ended up in a lot of WhatsApp groups. As soon as they found out that I'm in the club, didn't pay a single dime that day. That was nice. Good beer as well in Benta Bar. But the most interesting thing is I pretty much talked to everyone in there, and I often ask them, guys, you live on the other side of the world, what the heck, how did you get hooked up on Borussia Dortmund? And the pattern was we got recognized throughout our Champions League run in the beginning 2011, 2012, 13, and then, I mean, we've played Champions League 10 years in a row. Only 6 other clubs in Europe did that. But then they saw, as soon as I saw that yellow wall, I knew there is something special to that club.
Nice.
And that's what kept their interest.
It's such an impactful image, right?
It is, absolutely. And that's why we also don't monetize it and try to keep that ecosystem of the active fan scene mostly intact, you know, trying to keep ticket prices low, trying to keep beer prices reasonable.
How much are tickets and beer, just for comparison?
Now, look, you can get like a season ticket if you technically would be able to get one, because we got a waiting list with 30,000 people. But a season ticket standing on the south stand costs you 250 euros.
Okay, that's pretty reasonable.
Including public transport for the wider region, North Rhine-Westphalia. That's not the cheapest.
Like for $250, you can
season ticket.
You can watch a Lakers game.
See, that's the point. So strictly economically, you would say, okay, let's maximize ticketing turnover and let's see how we raise those prices, especially as standing on the South Tribune is probably on the bucket list of every halfway decent stadium connoisseur worldwide. But we don't do that because we're really well aware, even if we have the pressure to monetize and look for revenue streams, given our business model, we can't do that because we would really harm the core of our business model marketing-wise, and that is the fascination that this club community and the loyalty of the fans there creates. Same with beer prices. You know, we crossed the magic €5 mark.
Okay.
But I mean, every time I check out beer prices in the US, I'm like, oh, Okay.
Yeah, if you go to Madison Square Garden tonight, probably get away with like $19 for Bud Light.
It's really wild.
I mean, it's also a big chunk. I think like maybe almost a liter or so, like 20, 30 ounces. So I'm not too good with these, but it's huge, but still like pretty expensive. So let's talk a little bit about this brand equity because this thin line is so interesting, and I believe a lot of brands have to change in the future and have to adapt. So let's say car brands, at some point there will be mostly autonomous driving and all that. So they also have to think about maybe some different models and all that. And brands like Mercedes-Benz, they go into other verticals. So they build luxury apartments in Miami and in Dubai and all that. Another AMG brand. I think it's very interesting how. So if you would say it from an enterprise or like a corporate perspective, basically your brand safety team at BVB is like very strong because you don't leverage today's revenue to keep future revenue or like the brand legacy just on for the next 100 years. Is that right?
Yeah, 100 years is quite ambitious. I'm not playing for a century, but I mean, let's say for a decade.
You already got 100 years, so
yeah, it's just. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, we are often getting accusations from the active fans that we're too commercial and that we monetize too much.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a debate you can't win because it then often gets ideological in the sense that any kind of commercialization or monetization.
And it's also tough as it's just like from the company wise, it's a share company. It's AG, right?
Yeah.
So people have stock, and you kind of like are obliged by business model to give shareholder value, right?
Yes, but that's one point. But the other point is, again, I mean, Borussia Dortmund is an ambitious club.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just get this straight. We're from Dortmund, which is not the most fancy area of Germany. We have massive local competition with the next second league team being 15 kilometers away. Look at Munich.
Yeah. What are the teams like? Let's say like in the 30 miles, 50-kilometer radius.
Now, I mean, if you take North Rhine-Westphalia, and that's so the sponsorship market for Borussia Dortmund would be local companies in the North Rhine-Westphalia area, and then you have Dortmund, Bochum, Schalke, Duisburg, Essen, Cologne, Düsseldorf, Aachen. You know, and I think 4 of these play first league. And essentially, they're all fishing in the same sponsorship pool. Whereas if you go to Bavaria, there's Bayern Munich, and there's Nuremberg, there's Augsburg. But I mean, Bayern Munich rules them all. I mean, because of the great work they've been doing for decades. But yeah, and if you look at the other teams that we 10 years in a row Champions League. Played Champions League final last year, made it to Champions League quarterfinal this year. Look at the other teams up there. Okay, you could say Manchester, but the business model of Manchester is kind of like different from ours.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's Barcelona, it's Madrid, it's Paris, it's London, it's Dortmund. You know, notice the fault. We're not we're not a big European city. We don't have that much except for football and good-hearted people and excellent beer. And so, if you want to keep up there, and we're so ambitious to say we want to do this, then we have to be smarter than others and have to do compromises in terms of monetization, but. Doing this and still keeping the core of the brand intact, that's the daily struggle.
Yeah. I love the ambition. Most of the time in Germany, you say like, oh, you should be more humble and all that. But I really love that you guys are ambitious, that you guys pushing the limits, and it's just amazing.
I think you can be humble and ambitious at the same time. It's a question of tonality.
Okay, yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the football or soccer in the US. Would you say it's more an advantage or a disadvantage that it's just still a little bit niche? Because on the one hand, you could argue, okay, as it's niche, you have way more potential to grow into. On the other side, you can say like, oh, it's just a pretty tough market because there are also so many other sports.
That's a good question. I'm not so sure. I'd say it is an advantage, but I mean, there's a twofold challenge here. The first challenge or the first ambition is, of course, to grow the soccer market, using the term here on purpose, in the United States. And in that sense, you're competing with the legacy sports, the legacy American sports, American football, baseball, basketball, all of that, and probably quite a bunch of others that might be on par with soccer. So that's task one. And I mean, there has been massive progress on this. You have the Club World Cup this year. You have the regular World Cup next year. MLS has turned into quite interesting and nice product. International superstars coming over. So I think that's on a good path. And then within that niche, of course, most ambitious European clubs try to leave a mark, tell their story, and win over fans and market shares here. And I think even though it's a niche, the market is still big enough because I think clubs are complementary. As I just said, it's not about getting him in the corner to be a Borussia Dortmund fan, but if he listens with one ear and walks out of this call and saying, okay, I'm going to look at those black and yellow guys and watch the game tomorrow. Yeah, looking at you.
But a quick shot.
Then my work is done, and doing this with tens and hundreds of thousands of people. And then it's our job to appear as interesting and entertaining as possible. Yeah. And that is exactly the challenge, getting attention for the sports, getting interest into the sports, catching the attention as Borussia Dortmund in black and yellow, and then winning people over by how we perform on and off the pitch.
Yeah, and I think all these I think that the embassy you guys doing, and I can't emphasize this enough, is such a great activation because I told DJ beforehand, and we got to give a quick shout out here. To the podcast studio we're recording at. We're recording
Absolutely.
right on
Lovely
Broadway.
Thanks for the setup.
At Theorist. It's amazing. If you guys are in New York, check it out. Great guys, and I'm happy to make an intro. If you have any questions, just text me an email. But let's come back for one more time towards the embassy. From my analysis, I think it's just it just hits the perfect spot. I think 99% of all the campaigns that go viral always have a physical part in it. So you gotta start with a local or physical activation, and it can be you're renting out a restaurant, you do a small influencer activation, you host something physical, and then you have the story, and then you have the emotions that transfer online, and then stuff goes viral.
Absolutely. Lovely for you to say it. But the thing is, that was sort of like the absolute no-brainer for us. Because it really is in our club's DNA. If you've ever been, the core challenge that I have on a daily basis is, if you really want to get the Borussia Dortmund brand, you have to watch a match in the Signal Iduna Park in front of 82,000 people, roughly.
Yeah.
And then, as we normally play, always a bit of drama involved. The winning goal in 95th minute, you're getting showered with beer, you're kissing your neighbor you've barely known, and everyone's happy. So that would be the genuine Borussia Dortmund experience, and we often deliver on that. And but to transmit that virtually, via TV transmission, and it is really hard. So we often always think in local touch points first, physical touch points first. So when we went to Wembley, the first idea is, where can our fans gather? Do we get the right spot? How can we set incentives for our fans to meet up in the city center? And the same thing here. Now, this weekend in New York, so we collaborated heavily with Puma. I have to sprint back up to the Puma flagship store at Fifth Avenue right after this podcast, because we're doing our third activation there for fans together there. Then we have the embassy over in Brooklyn. That will be fun tonight, and even more fun tomorrow after post-match.
After the game? Yeah,
the game is 12. I still count on you to come.
Yep.
And then afterwards, straight to Williamsburg and have some fun there. But we also, we set up movable installations. So we have this lovely VW in black and yellow bus, with 5 tabs on the side.
Yeah.
And it has the line saying, enough beer to make you actually understand that it's called football. To settle that debate once and forever. That. Beer is the solution on that point, or might help with the, winning the argument. And we'll drive that thing also in Cincinnati, but But why we're doing this, not only to get a twinkle in the eye with our fans, serve them a beer and have a good time, but also to create content opportunities. With this thing driving around at iconic spots in New York, we get the imagery that helps anyone to understand that we have this ambition of being a global football brand and then being present around this tournament. So it's always a double meanings. We're really thinking in terms of fan experience, how can we help our fans to have a great time here, but also how can we do this in a way that enables us as a club to create great content and to let all the fans that can't be there to get at least a sense of the experience and the feelings around the tournament.
How do you measure success for activation or for a whole campaign like this? I mean, you have 3 categories of media. You have like paid, you have owned and earned media. Paid is basically the ads you post. Owned media is your own channels and the own TV and all the stuff you have yourself. And earned is if a PR company, like if a newspaper writes about you, if influencers post just by themselves and all that.
Yeah.
Just to break this down a little bit, how do you measure success?
I mean, by defining KPIs in that category as you just mentioned. So we do have absolutely simple KPIs such as follower growth on our English language channels over the course of the tournament. We have also new additional sponsorship revenue that we've done through the tournament. We have a KPI on fan data. So we're running a raffle for US fans to win a trip to the Yellow Wall.
Nice. How can I participate?
Just get yourself a BVB account, make sure you're a resident of the United States, and you'll find the QR code at the embassy or on our channels.
Unfortunately, I'm not a resident, so I can't participate, but we definitely have a couple of listeners.
That was fun to do such a raffle under US law. It's quite a bit of the budget went into legal counseling. It's you want to do it right. So it's a blend of all that. So we want to win fan data in the United States, grow followers, and then the most important KPI is the sporting KPI.
Okay.
Course, but you need goals to make sure the teams work in the right direction.
What would you say? Like, how many impressions would be a good thing? Where we're happy, like 10 million impressions, or like 100 million, or like what's a rough number?
Can't give you that. I think we haven't had impressions as a KPI. Oh, good.
That's all right.
No, we didn't have impressions as a KPI. I won't tell you the commercial goals as well, but I'm not sure whether we had 500,000 or 1 million additional fans. No, don't have the numbers present right now. But in that we are. And
in terms of new sponsorship, what are you guys looking for in terms of sponsors? Let's say when it comes like to international sponsors, what would be interesting? Is it like a local brand here, or should it be like more an international brand? What brands are kind of like missing, or would be a good addition to the whole thing?
Would that be the new business section of the podcast? No,
maybe we can do a referral. No. I know a lot of brand decision makers listen to the podcast, and maybe somebody's interested.
No, it's we are really open. I mean, simply because there is really a mind shift in sponsorship activation over the last decade, and we take that really serious. So it's not about give us a sum of money and your logo and we stick it somewhere and then everyone is happy. That's not the way it works anymore. We're really having deep conversations with potential sponsors on what are their actual business goals. What do they want to achieve with the sponsorship? So tonight we have Guest Jeans as a new sponsor who starts the cooperation together here with at the Club World Cup. So we have a blend of both. We have look at DAB, Dortmund Aktienbier. That's the beer brand that Radeberger Brewery out of Germany activates in North America. So they play a big role in that activation. So we do have often, or Evonik, they turned their classic sponsorship into one that focused much more on international markets. So that's a pattern that we have, like German sponsors who want to grow their global business and who are active in the markets where we're also active. So that's one thing. It also goes the other way around. US brands who are looking for smaller sponsorship to get access to the German market, maybe B2C, but often also B2B, because we have also meanwhile build up this huge B2B network and can make valuable introductions for any US brand who wants to enter the German or the European market. So it's kind of like both, but I'd say in the end, we're completely agnostic. We do need, of course, the feeling that the brands fit together, that there is a story that we can tell genuine line and credible to the defined target group, and that we're able to reach out to that target group. But if we see a match on that in terms of values, storytelling, and the target group, then we're pretty much open and have built an inventory that's so broad that we can really craft the right solutions for every kind of sponsor.
Yeah, I would love to dig deeper into that, but we should probably do this in another podcast or so, or we should talk to somebody from your sponsorship team, because the whole idea of like sponsorship rights is like so interesting. And when I came to the US a couple of years ago, I was always so fascinated of what kind of rights you can market, right? And let's say that the Lakers are our team in Los Angeles. They have a official rental car partner, which is Sixt. And I think this is a first good step to have this right and that you can activate it. But actually to activate it, that's the tough part. Because if you want to do it genuine, so probably they should provide, I'm not sure if they're doing that, but probably not, as it's hard to implement. So let's say if they should provide their players when they go on vacation with a Sixt car in, I don't know, in Barbados or in the Dominican, wherever they go on vacation, right? Like stuff like this. But this is so hard in the operations to execute. And it's way easier to just put a fucking logo somewhere. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but it's not enough to just place a logo somewhere. It is also important, but I mean, you need to back up the visibility with the right stories.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the World Cup, which is happening next year. Are you gonna? Do you look forward to it?
I always look forward to World Cups.
Yeah.
Period. And I mean, it being in the United States means it will be a rough time in terms of when to watch the games. But I am old enough to remember the World Cup '94 in the United States.
Oh, okay. How was that?
That was really great. I mean, it was fun to watch. It was interesting to watch. And I think that's, I mean, there's this debate in Germany about, or in Europe as well, there's a World Cup in Qatar and the Club World Cup and a World Cup in the United States. And I do get the criticism that a lot of people articulate. But at the same time, I think if you're from Europe, a bit more humbleness might make sense simply because just because football culture grew very early in Europe, it's not the only football culture available.
Yeah.
The South Americans have their own. Even Saudi Arabia has a long tradition of football, believe it or not. And same as Asia. And only Europeans, to a certain degree, together with the South American, created the blueprint of how football culture should look like. We should recognize and respect that other nations, other cultures want to develop their own view. And I think that having World Cups in different markets is a great way to learn a bit about that.
I would love to talk to you a little bit about content creation and the importance, or like generally the role that AI plays around that. How do you guys capture content now on a daily basis? Like, do you have an internal team? You work with agencies, and I kind of know it, but I think it's very interesting for the audience to understand. And also, how do you guys leverage AI already in your daily habits?
Okay, so first of all, we're running on a hybrid model. Most of the content capture and creation happens really in-house with dedicated content teams. So be it in the comms department, be it media productions that we're doing, which are more campaign related, but as you know better than anyone else, we also work with external partners when it comes to jersey campaigns or general marketing campaigns. So you could say that the always-on content, the daily baseline of content is mostly created in-house. Whenever we have special activations, we then like to partner with external agencies, also to get a creative impulse, to raise the bar a bit, to get inspiration. So it's kind of like this mixed model. So that would be the first part of the answer. The second part of the answer with regards to what you asked about AI is So there's areas where we're already using AI for content production. That is mainly for video creation, for example. So we collaborate with WSC, Israeli company, that have access via league rights to the complete footage of Bundesliga games and Champions League games.
Oh, okay, nice.
And they have this kind of like interface where you can say, all right, create a 60-second video vertical of all goals Marco Reus scored with his left foot from the last 5 seasons.
Wow.
And then, yeah, wow, exactly. So, and that's, of course, that's massive, simply because before that, it meant digging through hours and
the
hours
editor
of
took a
video
week or
material.
two, right?
Not that long, but, you know, because if you're a skilled editor, you know what game, and, you know.
Sure.
But having that available with a click and then 10 seconds and a bit of editing afterwards, that's, of course, massive. Simply because you can put more love in the video editing, you're able to get out more highlight clips and reels and stuff. And as video consumption turns more and more into vertical, that really helps you to cater to the needs of your target group. So that's one example. Another one would be whenever we are having, let's say, more search engine related content on the BVB website. So we did the relaunch of the BVB Day, and we used generative AI massively to go over the copywriting on the website, optimize it for keywords. We always do the final editorial check. Otherwise, we'd also have to put the disclaimer below. But we still have that need to run that manual check just to be sure, because you don't want to have any misinformation and service information and stuff like that. You know, the bar is too high for us as a football club, because everything we do tends to get massive.
Yep.
You know, the good things, but also the mess ups as well. So we have to double check there. And a few other different, and then we use AI, of course, as any other company would, would do. You know, going for more efficiency, analysis of big documents. We're a bit defensive on overusing synthetic content and generative AI with regards to anything that is fan-facing, simply because, I mean, it's a bigger debate that we should have in our society, or that would be interesting to watch in our society. But authenticity is this core asset for football clubs.
Yeah.
You know? The ability to provide closeness via content is so essential. Now, if we start to, let's say, create a birthday video of Julian Brandt, who congratulates the fan in fluent Mandarin to its birthday, it would be clear that that is something that is AI generated. And I'm not sure about the acceptance among fans in general. So we do not use synthetic content with regards to depiction of our fans, of our players, because we want to make sure that any content that you see on a BVB channel that's visual or video is genuine.
It's like real,
and
original.
Right? It's real.
Yeah.
But the big thing is, over the next years, with the rise of synthetic content, whether that the attitude of society towards these kinds of contents will change.
If it changes or adapts.
Yeah,
okay.
my standard example is the birthday letter you get from the mayor of the town you live in.
Yep.
He congratulates you to your 30th birthday, let's say, and then that letter is signed. You know that this letter was signed in a letter shop.
Yeah.
And that it's a printed signage. You still appreciate the card.
Yeah.
Now, would you feel the same appreciation for an AI-generated video of the mayor who directs a spoken message to you? Or would you say, come on, I know that that's a prompt and not a video?
I think definitely the message counts and the intention, but also how sophisticated it is, right? If it would be, let's say, Julian Brandt wishing me happy birthday, Benjamin, and it's like, so, right? But it's like, hey, Benjamin, happy birthday. I know you were at Signal Iduna Park 5 years ago last time at the game against Bayer Leverkusen where they won, or like where I scored or whatever. Then it's like, oh shit, this creates emotion and this creats like traction.
But does it? Because if it have it at scale, and you know it's just a prompt linking the data points that they have in the fan CRM,
I think.
And it's completely automated because that's the promise of AI, right?
It might be a chance.
I turn 50.
Yeah.
The AI scans my CRM account and creates this personalized video for me to send out.
Yeah.
I might still smile and value the gesture, but in the end, I know no one put any effort in it. It's just one configuration, and it ran through. I'm not. The honest answer is I don't know, but I think, but that's what I'm trying to get a sense for onto. To which degree we want to push on those innovations.
I like that. I want to wrap it up, and I have a couple more questions for you. And we have a category called Build, Break, Boost. So it's 3 questions, and first category is build. What's the thing you are currently building?
Together with my teams, I'm trying to build a sophisticated media network for Borussia Dortmund's partners, so that any of our sponsors and our partners and our advertisers is able to activate his campaigns on BVB platforms as he or she would do on any advertiser platform. Because I think that's business-wise really, really important, and enables us also to work together with media agencies and not only with the sponsoring departments of companies.
Okay. Break. What's a thing that recently broke, where you failed, which didn't work?
Anything we touched with regards to Web3. It's been a while, and we were really, really defensively, and it's good that we were. Because we did not see, either we did it wrong, which is always possible, but be it fan tokens or NFTs, anything that had been pitched to me and stuff where we experimented with, we just thought it didn't take off. It was just solutions looking for problems, and we didn't have the right problems so that people wanted to use the solutions.
Okay.
So it broke. But at a really small scale, and that's a good thing.
And boost, what's the thing that's currently inspiring you, a trend, a mindset, or person?
Currently, as you're asking me right now, it's just being in the United States, being at that tournament, getting in touch with fans of Borussia Dortmund who are not socialized as I was on Borussia Dortmund, learning about their experience and being able to create things that give them a great time. It's the most satisfying thing. That's
amazing.
Really boosting me right now.
Alex, thank you so much for your time. If people want to learn more about you, they can check you out on LinkedIn, right?
I'm on X also occasionally, but just Google me. I have the Google schedule the size of Germany.
And if there's any sponsors out there in the US who want to give some budget to BVB, please reach out to him. They always open to fun ideas. If we can help to make an intro, just text me. I am happy to make an intro. And thank you so much for your time. I know you had a busy schedule. You just flew in last night. You have to go to the next thing. And glad we made it. So guys, if you haven't seen anything of BVB, check it out. Check out the website. Check out the YouTube. There's so much great content.
Our black and yellow handles on Instagram. Run out of New York. I think they're always worth a click.
All right. And next episode, every 2 weeks, New Trend Society. We have a lot of fun podcasts coming up. See you guys soon, and thanks for tuning in.